Hey, what's up, everybody? You already know who it is. It's your brother from another, Marlon Rashawn Graves, aka Brother Mays, and you already know who my
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Jayce Janae. We up in here.
that's my better half. You already know how it is. Hey, we're back for another episode of Locked and Loaded, and we got special guests in the house, Miss Amby Lewis. How
Woo!
you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm blessed right now. I got this girl right here. Look, she said she was nervous. I'm just gonna be real. Mm-mm. Amby is all that and a bag of chips. We are going to be talking about pivoting, growing, and flexing with business consultant, of course, Miss Amby Lewis tonight. And we're going to be talking about it from a standpoint of from start to finish. She has made some transitions in her life over the last year to two, and I know you are wanting to know what those transitions are. But at the same time, I want you to also get to know who she is. And I want to just say this to you. Thank you. Thank you for many reasons. Because if anyone knows me, they know that Amby is and I have been very good friends for several years.
hmm
And in this community, she rebirthed me in a lot of ways. And we'll talk about that. But let's move further. Amby, tell our viewers something about you that most people wouldn't know unless they were with you or spent some time with you.
I'm very observant.
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
I observe everything. I literally study people,
Yeah.
different systems,
Mm.
just how things work. I'm kind of curious how they work, how they don't work,
Hmm.
and able to analyze things and just trying to move within intentions that way.
You're known for so many things, especially in this community. Um, you are like an energizer bunny when it comes to dealing with kids, especially dealing with young girls. And for those that don't remember, a Girl Like Me network started
hmm
in around what 2019 is when the idea 2018.
The idea came about in 2020 and we launched in 2021.
2021.
hmm
And that was at that time that I met Amby about a year prior, and she shared this idea about how she could revitalize young girls through her own experiences. I want to start there because you came on the scene like like no other. And what was happening in the community at that time, and just working in the school system, there was a lot of young women didn't have nothing to go to.
hmm
Kind of talk about that experience and what made you jump into that.
it was definitely a drought. We was
Mm-hmm.
coming out of COVID. A lot of mental things were going around.
Mm-hmm.
Children were trapped in the house with people that
Yep.
they probably didn't want to be with every day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and our Girl Like Me network was just something that honestly came to me.
Mm-hmm.
The spirit moved, and God wanted me to really just put myself out there and be like a pioneer for the youth, give them something to look forward to,
Mm-hmm.
be someone that they could actually say, "Hey, she looks like me," or "She
Right.
gets me." And so it taught me that confidence and structure
Yeah.
is what is needed in girls' lives. I think, and in general, all children's lives,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was just one of those things like made us feel
What
happy to help out the girls.
so here's the thing. There was a lot of great things that happened. I remember because she allowed me to be on the board.
Yeah,
You know, I was
vice
on the
president.
vice president and was all that and I
It
tell
was a good times, great
people
times.
people
Yeah.
say it's a Girl Like Me network, but you a boy, and I'm like,
Yes,
I have
Mr. G. They called him
Mr.
Mr.
G.
G all
I
the
have
time.
daughters, y'all. I have three daughters that I felt like this is what I needed to be part of.
Mm.
And better to understand them. And at the end of the day, um, what are some takeaways, some key takeaways that you can, if you could sum it up, I don't know, few minutes, what are some key takeaways from that all that experience?
Oh my goodness, there were so many takeaways.
Yeah.
I just will say that working with the underserved and just working with girls from all
Mm-hmm.
over, because we had locations here in Springfield, and then we
Mm-hmm.
had locations out there in Fulton. A lot of the girls had potential,
Mm-hmm.
something that I was very aware of. early on, which I knew before I even
Mhm.
started it, was that the lack of exposure
Right.
was something that was really serious in our area. When I say lack of exposure, it could be the STEM. That's something that we led with, was the STEM preparation.
Mhm.
And then also someone showing up. They needed consistency as someone that needed to be in their lives,
Mhm.
take them to events. You know, how many times have you attended games?
Right.
But just even on Saturdays, we were so repetitive about our program, and every Saturday for 8 weeks, making sure that,
Yeah.
hey, you know, we're going to eat every Saturday. We're going to have something exciting. We might
Mhm.
go on a field trip. We might
Yeah.
do this. So just exposure, and that that's really what these girls needed. And I think that's what a lot of people need
Yeah.
in general, just so they can actually, you know, prosper in anything that they do.
No, it's a great point. I mean, do you still maintain um, through mentorship, and do you still maintain some of these relationships?
I have. I don't as often. I have took a break. I've
Yeah.
been in school myself, and
Right.
I wanted to focus on my own household
Right.
and
Right.
work on my career and just in my development overall. So, but I
Mhm.
have seen some girls. I still write recommendation letters to
Yeah.
colleges. We have some girls in law school. We
Yeah.
had some girls that a child that, well, excuse me, a college student.
Yeah.
She's went to Washington,
Yeah.
where she developed like a STEM. It was in the STEM side of our organization, and she
Yeah,
helped.
and not to cut you off, but I want to go back to that
Yeah,
because you mentioned STEM several times. A lot of people may not understand this. We have made some relationships with, most state university,
yeah.
obviously in different institutions around here, because STEM, as you all know, obviously science,
Science,
technology,
technology, engineering, and math.
engineering, and math. There we
Hmm.
go. See, there she got it. I mean, it was something that I think a lot of people said, well, they can't do that. No, we did it. There were some projects that you did with these girls that really, I like to say it was kind of like, it was amazing, but it helped develop them.
Yeah, the whole
Yeah,
point is to prepare
yeah,
these
yeah,
kids. They don't get it all the time at home.
yeah,
So, you know, when you
yeah,
combine mentorship
yeah,
and then the life skills that we implemented
yeah,
together, you mash them together, it prepares them,
yeah,
Mhm.
right?
yeah,
You prepare them with the proper tools.
mhm.
And our motto was a place where, a place where seeds grow. So planting the
Yes.
seeds,
Place where
making
Nice.
sure
seeds
that these
grow.
kids are knowing that, hey, I may not get what she said now, but Miss
Right.
Amby said, or Mr. G said, or Miss Shawnee, or Mr.
Yeah,
Jean,
yeah.
anyone that worked with these kids. So just like preparing them and giving the proper tools that's necessary.
One that sticks in my mind is we took a field trip and we went to St. Louis.
Mm.
Oh my God.
The Science Museum
The
went. Which
Science
one? I
Museum.
already say with
Well,
Boeing. We've
went
been
to
to a lot of different
Boeing, yeah,
places.
and Boeing. I mean, the thing, seeing the girls being able to watch, look at aeronautics, and look at how people build planes and things to that level. The
Mm-hmm.
questions that came out of these young ladies after meeting some of these
Mm-hmm.
professionals, it was a lot of women professionals that came into the meeting when we met with them, and they explained what they did. I think that to me was the most exciting part
Mm-hmm.
because here it is in our state, one of the largest, airline manufacturing companies in the world, right here in St. Louis. And we're having this opportunity with our girls through this program to do this. Amby, you've done so much, and I don't want to pivot just yet, but from that experience, if you could share transitioning from that era, it was very undoubtedly a grand learning experience. But you kept your eye on the prize, and you mentioned something about you had to start paying more attention, or I'm going to say pay more attention, but you wanted to put more focus back on you. And when you made that change, and I remember that she said, "Mr. G, I'm going back to school."
Okay.
What has these last few years been like for you going back to school?
It's been exhausting.
Yeah, I know
I
that's
hate
right.
calculus. Hate it, hate it, hate it.
Yeah, I'm not a big math
Right
fan.
there too.
Oh my God. It's crazy,
Yeah.
girl. I cannot deal with it.
Yeah,
I don't like math. I don't like math. But
yeah,
everything else I loved it. I love learning. I just felt like whenever I started back into school in 2023, so I
yeah,
graduate here on May 14th of
yeah.
this year. So
Okay. Let's
knocking down my associates
I'm
and
looking to
then
be there and I'll be screaming, it's all good.
yeah, I got my associates in business management,
There
and
you go.
then I'll be moving on over to HR to get
That's
my
right.
bachelor's. But
I love it.
it was one of those things that you see the problem all around. No one's
Yeah,
ever prepared.
yeah,
I can't say no one's ever prepared. A lot of people aren't prepared.
yeah,
Mm.
A lot of people don't have the necessary tools, the essentials that they need to grow in business, grow within themselves. And I needed to take a break because I lost my brother in 2023. And I honestly got so depressed. And like, I just went in like a dark hole. And I was like, I'm chasing around these girls. I'm going to every meeting. I'm trying to attend my kids' stuff. And sometimes I'm missing it. And so my team members are doing it. It was like sometimes God will shake up some things to set you down.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what it was.
Mhm.
He turned my whole world around.
Oh man, come on.
And so then I had to make a really hard decision. What am I going to do with myself?
Yeah, and understanding this, you had already established yourself not only here in the Southwest Missouri community, because you talk about
we had a Fulton location. We had
Fulton
another location. I know. It was
another
crazy.
location. A third location was coming up, and it was like, whoa.
It was moving fast.
Should we slow down or what? But when you said, I got to go back to school, it didn't shock me. But if you see her work as a professional, you would never think that she didn't already have this degree that she talked about and this experience, because from life experiences. And so for me, I look back at it and here it is. I'm a teacher. I'm saying to myself, you know what? She's got to do what she has to do.
Yeah.
Bottom line, because she's walking it, she's talking it. Now it's time to actually put it out.
Yeah, you need those credentials. You can't tell them girls. I think I went to Yuma Tony. She's such a sweetheart. You remember Tony?
Oh, come on now.
Tony was a mentee in a program from MSU, and I fell in love with her from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
She was a child from Congo, and she came to Springfield, enrolled at MSU, and she was just such a it came natural. Her leadership came natural. Her will, she's actually in law school right now.
Yeah, law school right
now,
yeah.
I was like, this girl invited me to her college graduation, and I'm telling these girls, go to school, finish up, be somebody. We're doing like all these chemical development in the STEM side, and I'm teaching them business and understanding why certain things are even made for you to make money. And next thing you know, I'm like, okay, but it just felt right. It just felt it was time. I didn't have a whole lot of structuring whenever I took off with this nonprofit. I had a lot of people lead and following me, and my leadership. Yeah, it was great. I would say it wasn't great. I'm honest enough to say it wasn't great.
Yeah,
I needed work.
Yeah.
I love the fact that people believed in what I did, and the people that worked with us believed in me enough to follow me. And sometimes people can follow people, but they're not understanding that the people that they're following may not have it all the way together, right? And so I'm just barely hanging. I'm like, come on with me, just shaking. Right. But they're steady, and I love that. So I try to keep great relationships with those people, including you. It's just like, y'all were following me, but hey, listen, I was like one of those brats. Hey, this is what I want. We're gonna do this, and sometimes we did it big.
Yeah. we had hold up
some great support.
Listen, we had two great, when I say great, annual awards show.
Yeah.
I mean, people thought we were already established for years, and we looking at
get to that
you got these girls walking in gowns and this and that and everything. They're going, wait a minute, but the beauty of it all, and we're gonna. And matter of fact, I'll tell you what. For those of y'all who are just joining us, this is the Lock and Loaded Show. And yes, I told you this is going to be a conversation. I got Amby Lewis in the house. Obviously, Jayce and I got Amby Lewis in the house. She is the new business consultant, owner, I just call it Flex Business Consultants. Yeah. But before we get to that, we're setting the foundation of where this all started. Guys, come back. We're going to take a little break. This is the Lock and Loaded Show. All right, everybody, you already know who it is. It's your brother from another, Marlon Rashawn Grace, aka Brother Mays. Hey, listen, Amby Lewis is in the house, y'all. If you ain't already heard and you ain't been with us, Amby Lewis of Flex Business Consultants is in the house with us, and we have been just kind of going back to the origins of where it all started. You know, even before this new business that we're gonna be jumping in on. But we was talking about a Girl Like Me Network, a nonprofit that was very successful and still is because of the products that's came from it, fruits of the labor. But at the end of the day, Amby is now talking to us about that pivoting, taking time for herself.
Mm-hmm.
Before we go a little further about you, there was, and I kind of want to pivot a little bit because we're coming up on. There's a lot of talk about human trafficking, and it's been happening. And for those of people of color, especially our brown people, and our black girls, it has been an issue. And we're going to be doing some things here in the near future with the show talking about it. But because you work with a population of young women who are exposed to that,
Yeah.
can you kind of talk about any experiences that you've dealt with that? Because remind you, the basis of our show is the foundation is dealing with gun violence, safety, reduction, all that.
Yeah.
But we know that all that kind of comes together. Did
Yeah.
you ever experience any of that with the girls?
Oh my gosh. First off, I cannot stand these human traffickers.
I know.
They're suckers. They're like leeches. They're the bottom feeders of the ocean. But yes, we did. We had a teenager. She was about 18 or 19. She was actually like in the middle of becoming a mentee in our program. And she had the most beautiful voice ever. And whenever she was on the TikTok social media platform, I guess she go live and then people get to like send you little emojis, some of this stuff these new kids, all this new technology is doing. But anyways,
sending gifts.
Yeah, that's what
There
they
you
call
go.
them.
There you go.
Oh, I'm getting there. So, but anyways, so some guy found her on there, promised her dreams, said that she was going to go to out there in California to, pursue her music career.
Right.
Well, this is the crazy twist behind it. She gets all the way there, gets the bus ride, all this, and no, she flew, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember how she got there, but she got there, right? She's stuck in hotels. She's not even at this point. I don't think she's even been in the studio. They took her phone. Like she's starting to realize, okay, this is not the environment that I thought it was going to be. And long story short, she was still in DFS custody. So that was just kind of also a little thing. She was still in Springfield DFS custody.
Right.
So when I say
she was aging out.
Yeah, she was aging out. So she was getting her own apartment, all that. And she's all the way out there, and somehow, some way, she got away. She was able to run out the hotel they were at in LA or California. And because she had been in communication via still in cell phones or laptops and just being in communication with her caseworker, they were able to create a plan. And I did not have access or didn't have any say so in the plan that was in place to get her home. But the fact is, she did get to come home.
Yeah.
I seen her maybe like maybe like last year during a vendor's event or something like that. But that TikTok, the social media, it's dangerous. It's something serious. These guys are out here selling dreams, and it seems like the predators are getting more skilled. They're getting more
I know what you're going with. They're streamlining how we recruit people in general. They're right there, so it's kind of hard to do.
You gotta watch them. It could be just anybody.
Yeah,
it could be your
very
neighbor.
harsh.
It could be your cousin's friend, and it could be your sister's baby daddy's. And what they do is, they just the woo and awa these girls, and I feel like guys can be a victim just as much by just telling these kids exactly what they want to hear. And if a family's coming, a child's coming from a struggling environment, okay, well, someone's giving me money. You not giving me money. I'm gonna go where the money's at. I'm getting me new shoes. I'm getting me jewelry. I'm getting the new purses. Get me the new Tory Burch. There's all types of different things that these kids are wanting, and then they're not understanding that there's high risk behind it. And so someone's promising these kids this, or just give them way too many compliments, way too many gifts. And so honestly, that stuff starts to throw me red flags. But that was our experience with the child that we had.
No, I appreciate
It
that, and
was scary. I was
do
like, oh Lord,
That
I
is
do
scary.
remember
it happened.
I remember some parts of that because I remember, due to privacy and everything, we
Mm-hmm.
didn't talk about certain things to that level.
Mhm.
The good thing is she's okay.
Yeah.
That's the good thing. But that's things that you experience, and from that, and now I kind of want to pivot a little bit because now you go back into your life. You're
Mm-hmm.
focused on family. You raising three beautiful kids. One that just kills me every time is Keyston. So I'm just letting you know he's something. Her youngest son is something. He's something else.
He's a
But
cool kid.
he's a very good kid. At the end of the day, um, you're being mom again, but at
Yeah.
the same time, you're taking care of family.
Mm-hmm.
You did mention you lost your brother,
Mm-hmm.
and again, my condolences to that situation. But now, Amby, you get back into business mode. You get back
Mm-hmm.
to because I remember when she gets silent and she don't talk that much, she's thinking
Mhm.
and she's like planning. And next thing I know, it was I'm doing the trucking business, and she's in the trucking business, and you're getting a lot of experience working in what more like administrator for a company. Is that how you would put it, or?
You know what, Marlon? I don't even know how I got into the role. I was supposed to be an office assistant.
Yeah,
But God had bigger plans because I prayed about it. I said, God, listen, I'm going to school for HR, so I need
yeah,
you to put me in a role. I said, I need a job that
Yeah.
actually gives me a little bit more money than what I've been making
yeah.
because my lifestyle's like on a champagne taste and I really got a beer budget, you know? And so
I like that. I like
and
that.
literally he did that. I walked into there and I was like, oh, I know what y'all need. Y'all need y'all need a miracle. And I
Yeah,
was that miracle. I believed in
yeah.
myself so much. And but we started as a paving company and then we entered into the trucking industry.
Trucking industry. Yeah.
The paving company, the paving industry is just so it's like really oversaturated in this area,
Yeah.
so to say. Then it's also hard to find good workers,
Yeah.
and so it just wasn't the thing that was needed for the business. And
No.
so there was equipment like dump trucks and regular 3,500 trucks. And I was telling the owner, I was like, listen here, man, I know some people that know some things, and I think you
Right,
might need to just
right,
put them on the road. And then
right.
he was like, yeah, let's see, and I was like, did you not know? And like, why I'm analyzing everything again, because I'm observing. So when I walk into this mess as an office assistant, there is things they don't have a DOT number. So y'all operating these paving these dump trucks, y'all, there's a certain things
Oh
that were
snap.
not in compliance. And
Yeah.
again, I've been learning a lot. And I was just like, oh. So I got on the computer, started pushing buttons so I get
Yeah,
on
yeah,
FMCSA,
yeah,
and then I got the DOT number by mistake because I just started just clicking things like
yeah,
by
yeah,
mistake
yeah,
I did it, and
yeah.
I was like, I got your DOT number, and I said, we can do the truck, and that's how it went. I was like, we can do the trucking, and I know some people that know some
Right.
things, and so
Mhm.
I called Michonne Parks, and I
Yeah.
was like, listen, I got I know you are pulling. What are you doing?
Right.
Tell me what you're doing. So I needed, he's like, oh, Amby, I got you, and he came down with his partner and they sat down with us and they gave us all the tea. And I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
So
Self-made. I told you.
Hey.
But it was so but it was so
Yeah.
organic. How?
Pays to know some people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was so organic because next thing you know, I'm like, you doing what? And then I see pictures. And I'm looking on I'm looking on
it's been the
like
most,
IG. Like she's riding she in a truck and she's riding across the country. And I'm
yeah,
going, what the heck is going on?
yeah.
But here's the thing I want, and I'm glad you started there with that because you pivot into now a business, and I see some of the flyers. Here's some flyers and stuff, and it talks about trucking industry,
Mhm,
but you're now a consultant
mhm,
for businesses or
mhm.
business owners or even just people who wants to start their own
That's
business.
correct.
Before you answer this question I'm about to ask you, I want you to also define this. What is success to you?
Well, it's more than money and recognition at this
Okay.
point.
Because I need people to understand when she made this transition, she was already successful. A lot of times people think it's all about the money.
No, it's not all about the money. We all
But
now. Don't get me wrong. We
no,
like the
don't get me wrong,
money.
yeah.
I love
But
money.
you have
Money's
hit some
nice.
levels that people with degrees and people that have been out there had not hit.
It's all about alignment. Success for me
I
is
love that
alignment.
alignment. There you go.
You get to this space in your life
Mm.
and you know your calling, you know your purpose. You get up every day with
Yeah, because
purpose.
you come from some humble. beginnings.
Of
You
course.
know, so
Never,
uh,
never too shy about it at
mhm,
all. But it's all about alignment for me. And every day I get up, it seems like I'm getting that more. It's every step just kind
yeah,
of just helps you is this elevation.
yeah,
Um, Whenever I can figure out something, I'm like, oh, I did it.
yeah,
Or I created this,
Yeah.
or it's just, it's all about alignment. And like for me, I had to sit down for a minute. I had to take a step back because
Hmm.
I was moving so fast. And like I told you, it was just like, whoo, Lord. And so then I just had to really just structure myself
right,
Hmm.
because a lot of times, we talk about structuring businesses and all
mhm,
that, but if yourself ain't structured, you don't have
Yeah.
morals and values and don't have no true beliefs,
Right.
what are you really doing? Who are you?
Yeah. I was gonna ask you a question
Yeah.
actually to kind of go back just to learn a little bit more about your upbringing and everything.
Yeah,
What
go ahead.
what kind of things did you experience or involve yourself with growing up that kind of ties into the things that you're doing now and even
mhm,
Girl Like Me program?
Well, when I was growing up, baby, we were pillar to post.
yeah,
Sometimes we had to stay at family's house. We had
Mm.
to stay at a time foster care. I've been on my own since I was 16 and
Oh,
I got emancipated at 17 and I came from Kansas City.
yeah,
This is my hometown, but I
okay.
went to Westport High. One time my mom got out of prison, one of the times she got out of prison and I was able to go up there, live with her, but then it just went back left. And
Yeah.
so I got
yeah,
emancipated. My brother that died actually saved me and got me up out of there
yeah,
because at that time, I was dealing with people from the streets and things were just, it could have went really badly.
yeah,
Mm.
So, but that's my upbringing. And so kind of tying it to what I do now, starting with the nonprofit,
Yeah.
a Girl Like Me Network, it was one of those time things is I wanted to show up. And plus my kids were hitting that preteen areas.
Hmm.
mm,
And so I wanted to make sure that I was providing and being someone that I needed.
Yeah.
right,
I used to always ask God, "Am I the only one? Am I the only one?" And like, I probably didn't say it like that because I was nasty. But I was like, God, am I the only one that's going through this?
Yeah.
Where, my dad's not around, my mom's in and out. People are they talking about me whenever we're living with people. So it was just really awful. And so I get it when I say you struggle. The struggle is real.
Yeah.
I
right,
get it. I understand it, but I also understand that it's up to you to have that alignment. And so I wanted to create the nonprofit to make sure that I showed up for girls the way that I needed someone to show up. I needed
Okay.
someone to, hey, show me something awesome.
right,
Show me that I'm great. Don't tell me that, oh, your mama ain't nothing or your daddy ain't nothing and you ain't gonna probably be nothing. You're gonna be pregnant. There were so many negative things that were always shot at you
Yeah.
whenever you don't have a stable home. You
right,
got people that are really reaching out to give you help, but they're also talking about you and then hitting your hand too.
Yeah.
And so a lot of
yeah,
people it makes it hard for those people that come from the struggle to accept help. And
Hmm.
so I wanted to be that person to come in, girl, I got you.
yeah,
I know
yeah,
what you're going through. I know, I know. And so I think that's what made it easier for me to even grow the nonprofit the way I did was because I came in super organic. I wasn't nothing like these program people that are usually in the community.
Right.
I'm not a program, I am not a robot. This is literally me. And so I think that was different too. It's just I came supernatural with it.
there it
Hmm.
Hey,
is,
I
there
know
it
what they
is,
need.
there it
Nice.
is.
Awesome.
Jace, that was a great question that you asked earlier. I mentioned that, meeting Amby, she
Hmm.
rebirthed me, and what I meant by that from
You
the
were handicapped. You were like leaning on something. What was it, like a crutch? He had like something like
What?
he was all
we're not
jacked
trying to
up.
get into that, but no,
You had handicap.
I had, yeah,
I was like on crutches or a
I was on
brace
some
or
crutches
something.
at the time.
Oh my
I
god.
had
Old
some things.
man
I
syndrome.
had some things going on at the time. It's so funny. But here was the thing when I say she rebirthed me because here it is. My background. I had a lot of experience dealing with nonprofits. I dealt
Hmm.
a lot of business back in Florida. But coming back home was an experience learning Springfield all over again.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I tell people to the day, had it not been for meeting Amby when I did,
Hmm.
I don't think that that charge would have been there for me because I was obviously a caregiver. But at the end of the day, I'm saying, how do I get back to being me?
Hmm.
And looking at Amby's life and where she said, okay, this is where I'm gonna start taking control. That's what rebirthed me. And that's why I said thank you in the beginning when you came tonight, because I learned so much from her, from how she took her humble beginnings and she made the best of it. Bottom
Yeah,
line.
you got to take those lemons and make
Yeah, I
lemonade.
know.
You
She
know?
took them crutches out from under me, but at the end of the day,
What was wrong with you?
you know what? We're not. This is not the episode to talk about that.
I can't remember. Like, oh my god. Yeah.
Off air.
Some
Off air.
transitions. There were some transitions in my life, but at the end of the day, you're making this transition. There's this light bulb that comes up.
Yeah.
Flex Business Consultants,
Mm.
and it's so smooth. I mean, if you just go through I'm saying, okay, so let me do this. Let me do this.
You like it?
What do I?
You like it?
You know, it says.
I designed that, and so
That's what I'm saying. I know she did this because I'm looking at it. It says, "Who are we?" And it says at Flex Business Consulting. And I want people to understand this. We don't just teach business; we live it. Okay, we take losses, learn hard lessons, and build real solutions so you don't have to go through the struggle alone. And I have to be honest, I know so many people who have started businesses. And as soon as they start struggling, they feel like, is it me? Did I do something wrong? And they don't have that person there to tell them it's okay. I mean, we talked to, what was it, just a few weeks ago, we had Justin
Pippins.
was it Justin
Pippins.
Pips? Yeah, that's right. He comes on, he says he has to teach people that they're not in this by themselves.
Yeah.
And you know, when he empowers people, and I think that's where we lose people. So with that alone, what should people expect when they meet you dealing with Flex Business Consultants?
Well, because what do they expect? Well, I'm hoping that they expect to be successful.
Well, I'm
okay,
hoping
that's
too.
the key, right? I want them to expect.
But
to be
what's
successful.
different? What? Just be honest. Just say, what makes you different from that average business person out there that has experience? I mean, I know I can go in a room and I can tell people a lot of things, but
Yeah.
that's just me. But you're you. What's different?
Well, because exactly, a lot of people have businesses and making money, but they're overwhelmed, they're overstimulated. The foundation and structure is not there, right? And so we can make money all day, but do you know where you're going with that money?
Right.
Do you know whenever you're going to retire? Do you know that that there's a process that has to be done? A lot of business owners are just taking money out the pool and thinking that, oh, because my bookkeeper said, hey, I can do an owner's withdrawal, you can do that. Be easy with that, okay?
Right.
Because if a truck breaks down or if the light flooding goes through there, do you have backup money? Do you have a plan? If you got 5 children, who's going to be involved if you die?
There you go.
And so for me, I'm always talking about building the operating side, then getting a parent company, and then I'm always talking about legacy. That's where I'm at. But they should expect, and the ones that I have came to me, they are more they already know me.
Yeah.
They hear about word of mouth. They've seen what I've done, and they like the honesty, the integrity that rolls with it, and just being able to be reassured. They're not ashamed about, oh, I was doing it wrong. Yeah, hey, girl, I was doing it wrong too. I'm here because there's no intimidation. I'm super laid back, but they expect to be honest with. There's no gimmick. I'm not trying to hustle anyone out their money. If anything, I'm trying to make sure that their money is good. That you don't. I don't want nobody to depend on me. You can depend on me for a few things after we get it, but my goal is after I structure you and get you right, I'm gonna set it so smooth that you don't need me. You might need me to call me on that quarterly just to make sure some things are lined, that you have certain documentation, but I don't want nobody to depend on me. You know what I'm saying? Just tell somebody about me, okay? Send them my way. Or if your business is where you're going to need documents notarized all the time, you better send them my way, okay? Because I helped you all the way, right?
I remember, and I could be the first one to say we were talking. I officiate weddings. Being a
you better
minister.
send me some weddings.
It was so funny that this guy said he was international. I said, "What do you mean by international?" He says, "I'm literally a citizen of 2 different countries." And I said, "Okay, I understand." He says, "And my wife is a citizen of this country." And so there's a process in that. And so I think I called you one day and I said, Amby, I said, you notarize, right? She said, yeah. I said, I think I'm gonna need you on this one. And so whether they called you or not, I'm not sure, whatever. But I said, hey, I have somebody that can notarize your application or whatever. And she was like, sure, let's make it happen. Those are the type of calls that I personally enjoy, because it's like if you know somebody, you call them. You offer a lot of, or should I say, a variety of things. What does a person who comes in and says, they call you and they go, Amby or Miss Lewis, can we set up an appointment? How does that call end?
We're gonna set up that appointment,
Appointment,
whether
yeah.
it's video or we're gonna meet in person.
Yeah.
But my first initial meeting is really just trying to uncover some gaps. I'm gonna listen if
I
any.
like that.
You gotta listen. I don't know anything. If I'm gonna already try to speak ahead of the client,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
I need to listen to see where they're at. So, and that also determines if they're a startup business or if they're existing.
Mhm.
If they have some other ideas because we have an IP company. So
Yeah.
if they're needing just training or certain type of orientations, if we need to create that, then
Yeah,
I
I
can
know
do.
you have some classes that you
Oh yeah.
offer.
Oh yeah. I got a class this Saturday.
Okay.
Nice.
So you're teaching some of these beginning aspirations, these
Yeah.
points.
Oh yeah.
like that.
So what we're doing is it's called Let's Drive campaign. And so Let's
Okay.
Drive campaign is an 8 series business class.
Mhm.
And like Thoughts to Papers is coming up this Saturday. And so
Okay.
then the next one, the next 8 months is going to be something different. And it's just setting the blueprint. And by the end of December, they should be able to
I
shake
love
up.
it.
And it's free service. So an hour
Really?
free.
It's a free?
1 hour of free.
Hey, hold on, people. Free.
Because my
Okay.
consultations are $60.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love
But
it.
I just wanted to make sure I put something out there, and it's going to be on my YouTube page, and I'll give it to you as well.
Okay, thank you. We'll
But
put
yeah,
it out
so
there.
it'll be on my YouTube page. But it was just Thoughts to Paper. That's be the classes that we're doing.
Okay,
Mhm.
perfect, perfect. Guys, we're talking to Amby Lewis. Obviously, she has went from the start of her life, or just should I say, being a nonprofit business owner, to being a consultant, to really now consulting herself, not just for kids, but now to adults, business owners. We're going to be talking more about flex business consultants here in a minute. This is the Lock and Loaded Show. You already know who I am. I'm the host, Marlon Rashawn Graves, aka Brother Mays, and of course you got over there.
Jayce, Janae.
You see it up there in the corner, right? Okay. At the end of the day, guys, we're coming right back, and we're going to learn a little bit more about Miss Amby Lewis and Flex Business Consultants. All right, everybody, we're back. I'm your host, Marlon Rashawn Graves, aka Brother Mays. Obviously, Jayce, Janae.
Hello.
Yay. Hey, listen, we got special guest Amby Lewis, and we have had a great conversation so far. And we thank you once again for being with us,
Yes, thank
because
you.
we've talked about from the beginning. Obviously, she's been a nonprofit business owner. She's transitioned, went back to school, all the above, but now working this flex business consulting business. I'm excited because it don't just offer one avenue of things. You offer several things. I want to read from here real quick. This is her business card. In the back it says services, business consulting. Get clarity, direction, and real strategy.
Mhm.
Business plan. Perfect for loans, investors, and growth. Mobile notary services, as we were talking before. Reliable, professional, and convenient. Business classes. She has a class coming up this weekend. Step by step guidance to build your business from the ground up. Portfolio development. And as we were talking off air, talking about the difference between business plans and portfolio development. But mainly organize your business for growth, funding, and partnerships. Amby, there's people out here, we're saturated, as you said earlier.
Mhm.
we're saturated with the trucking industry. This
Yeah.
is what Homer Prime and several other
Mhm.
companies. You've been in this trucking industry now for a few years. Talk about what's the one specific question that comes to you about those who are saying, "Hey, I want to drive my own and have my own fleet," something to that level. Kind of go that route.
Okay, so what is it like when they come to us?
Yeah. So if I'm a trucker and I say, I don't drive trucks, but you know, I own a few.
Yeah.
I want to maximize this.
Yeah.
How does that
Well,
work?
if someone wants to grow, if they do have their existing trucks and whether they want to be an owner and just,
Mm-hmm.
not be an operator, but just run the business,
Mm-hmm.
it just depends on what they want to do. There's a lot of stipulations when it comes to regulation, making sure you're in compliance with the insurance, USDOT, FMCSA, MoDOT. There's so many different tiers to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not cheap. So you have the difference where people are just slowly beginning, don't have a whole lot of money. They just want to drive. So there might be someone that comes in that has that has trucks. Well, all right. So you don't want to drive and someone else wants to drive. So you kind of bring them together. And then there's companies out there that allow you to use their authority number
Yeah.
while you're age, because typically a lot of companies are not going to partner with a new entrant. If you are less than 180 days or, getting a DOT number or authority number, and that's what you see on the side of the trucks as MC is a motor carrier number.
Right.
And that's how they're identified on the roads. But anyways, after, if you haven't been around like a year, is steady with no accidents, no incidents, no violations, and people are not wanting to mess with you. So a lot of times people come in, whether they want to and they'll drive for other people's authority. They'll put someone else's numbers on there. It might even be their own truck. So it just all depends on what they want to do and how they want to do it. But what we do is with the trucking, we just figure out where they're at with it. Do you got your own truck? Yes or no? All right. No. Okay. So, what skills do you have? How long have you been driving? Are you willing to invest in yourself? Because a lot of people are not willing to invest. Everybody just wants things handed to them. But, and that's kind of where I kind of get a little tougher at is by asking those questions and just being real. Like, it's going to cost you some money. What does your MVR look like? Your motor vehicle report? Because, if you got a speeding ticket that was over 15 miles per hour, it's not going to be that easy for me to get you in anywhere.
Right.
But we've partnered with JB Hunt. We've partnered with High End Staples in the past year. We've partnered with people on the East Coast that's subcontracted with FEMA. So it just all depends on what the trucking, what the person is doing. So if they got existing trucks, yeah, we can get them rolling.
I love it. You basically kind of giving me a breakdown of what to expect, and I appreciate that. But the flex process, as I would call it, 30, 60, 90 days. I mean, you usually see a change within 90 days. And there's a lot of consultants out there for everything. A consultant has as I said, a real consultant has a process, not guesses. You've developed some of these processes. Now, just real talk. You've developed some of these processes. You've seen some of these processes. Has it come to the point where you've seen yourself say, "Okay, I got to do it a different way"?
Of course. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of explain how that works a little bit.
Well, can't guess. We got to assess it.
Yeah, exactly.
In the first 30 days, honestly, it's more of like discovery and just like structuring. Like, again, a lot of questions are going to be asked.
Right.
A lot of like, you're going to go to the table. You might have a client that's going to change their mind multiple times. I'm like, bruh, like, are you a Gemini? I'm just kidding. But but I don't know. But for me, it's just like, the first 30 days you're gonna discover and do some structure. And then the next 60 days, that's when we're gonna really start to try to bring it more to life and get their vision down and like implement maybe their strategies that for that particular cause, that industry, that business that person's doing. And then by the 90 days that we're, into it, and when I say implement it, doesn't mean it goes all in 60 days, because that gets scary. Like, wait a minute, I can't do it in 2 months, which it can be done,
Right.
but it takes some time.
Things
some
happen,
people.
though.
Let's say if someone's working a 9 to 5 already, and then they're trying to get on the side hustle to make it a permanent position.
Right.
So you got to make sure that every minute counts and that every day you're reporting back to each other, or like every few days. Hey, I'm giving you this test. This is assignment. This is what it looks like. So that's when I say implement any type of strategy so that no one gets behind or anything like that. And then just making sure that whenever you are building the business plan, and I work with the portfolio too. Like something about what I like
I'm
with
glad you jumped into that, but yeah, please.
yeah, because with certain packages that we got, I just will go ahead and add that portfolio in there because that gives them a direction. It gives them a vision. This is exactly where we're headed with it, and that
Right.
makes sure that when they are done with me, like I said, I don't need anybody dependent on me. So I
Mhm.
want to make sure that they are be able to sustain their business.
You jumped right into a question I was going to ask is how
Mm-hmm.
does Flex Business Consultants ensure long-term sustainability?
Yeah.
And obviously, with that being said, you've done it. I'm curious because you don't have to be obviously in the trucking industry in order to call on you.
God no.
Have you had recently some people who said, "Hey, I've started my business and I just need some serious help. It ain't nothing to do with trucking, but
Yeah.
they've just been like, hey, I just need you to look over my paperwork or whatever." Does that?
Cleaning
Yeah,
businesses. Someone's like, I've been cleaning for a few years.
yeah,
I'm just not getting nowhere. I'm overworked. I'm exhausted. Okay, well, guess what? So she'll actually, we'll work on that and see what's happening. Well, I've got people that's calling with ideas, how they want to make a change again in the
yeah,
community because there's always room for change. And, sometimes everyone's idea is a little bit better than the other one. So, but yeah, we get from the cleaning businesses to what is it, t-shirts, some clothing
yeah, yeah,
business,
yeah.
Yeah.
dispatch service. Well, that's still in the trucking, but but
I love it.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
No, this is good because here we are. Obviously, our show has so many different varieties of guests that have come on. I think you're the first that has distinguished, you know, what the small person to the big person, what's the difference, especially when it comes to business.
Mhm.
I mean, because right now it's a lot of what I don't know and what I have yet to experience. And so, with that being said, you're answering a lot of these questions. I'm very, I ain't gonna say impressed. Um, I am. I'm very impressed because I looked at this when I saw it, I said, man, I said, I might have to give her a call myself.
Yeah, no,
You
I'm
know,
not even gonna lie. I've been sitting here thinking to
been thinking
myself too. Yeah.
because because even and I had a
I'll help you. This is what
you
it's
know
about, you guys.
I,
Like, it's not, whenever I started the nonprofit, like
yeah,
I got people, they want to donate money.
yeah,
They want you to go speak, but there wasn't no development, true development for me.
yeah,
And then sometimes I would set in maybe in like big rooms of 30 or, all these people. And it was always the same story.
yeah.
Yeah.
It might be the same thing, it was same way. And I just never felt like some of that service that they were providing was authentic,
Authentic,
Yeah.
yeah,
and it's not taken away from anything because I've attended some amazing events.
yeah,
But for me,
Mm.
it just didn't work.
Yeah.
I struggled. I got depressed. I felt like I was losing when I wasn't losing, but I felt like I was lost and losing. And so, what I just want to make sure that anybody that I have contact, come in contact with,
mm,
is that we're gonna win together. I'm gonna walk through with you. I'm not just gonna just give you, hey, you can't, don't depend on me. We just did this. You better have it right.
Right.
No,
yeah,
call me.
yeah,
I want people to check in with me, but also it's a success story,
Right.
right? I
yeah,
want to make sure you win because if you didn't win, what happened? Did you get discouraged? Did something happen in
yeah.
life? Did I make, did I paint the picture a little bit different than, it's all about alignment.
Yep.
That's all there is to it.
Amby, when you accepted the fact that accepted to be on the show,
Hmm.
I kind of put it out there a little bit through a little network that here's who I'm gonna bring on the next show. And if you have any questions that you'd like to be answered, or send them back to me.
Yeah.
It was a young lady. Her name is Alexa.
Oh
She-
Lord. So you, yeah. Oh Lord, have
yeah,
mercy.
yeah. I told
I
her
knew it was
throw a
gonna be
little
some curveball
surprise,
stuff.
right?
Oh my gosh.
So it's so funny. His name is Alexa. I'm sitting there going, okay,
Like
okay.
the robot
Like
Alexa
the
or
like
like a
the
real person?
no, this like you say Alexa, hey, like
I
Siri,
know.
Right.
say Siri, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I was just laughing about it, but no, Alexa
Hmm.
actually asked this question. You wanted to know: do you see yourself reaching back to the young girls or through this new program, the business that you're doing? Do you see yourself reaching back and offering or teaching these concepts to these young ladies or maybe young men? Because at the end of the day, what they're asking is they dropped out of school. That's what happened. And they were looking for ways to sustain their life.
Mm.
And when I called her back, I said, well, have you thought about just trying to take a test, get a GED, whatever the case may be? She says, I know what I know, but I just don't see school for me. So is there anything that she can offer? And so that just makes me think, how would you approach that or answer that question for
Well, Alexa, yes.
her?
Yes, I do plan.
Yeah.
AGLMN wasn't something that I just quit. It's
Yeah.
been on standby, okay?
Okay.
All right.
There's a foundation that's going to be in works, and then obviously I won't be the president. I will have someone else lead it. But during the time that it was live and well,
Mm.
some of the programs were business around
Yeah,
it.
they were.
If you
Right.
recall, like I said, whenever we were doing the events, I was always having the girls process something. What is a need?
Yeah.
What is it that you like? What's
Right.
popular, girl? What is it that it's in? And
Mhm.
so, um, helping the youth with flex, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's so many different areas. I am hopefully will be able to go back to the colleges and get some of those students. I had a
Good.
great relationship with MSU where students could come in and they will get their student learning hours into the program working with STEM. But with
Mm.
flex, I would also want to see where they can get the hours in
Mm.
on our IP and our intellectual property company. And
Yeah.
so there's so many different things. But yeah, I do want to work back with the youth heavier in the business because I get it. And, and like I said, even if, you go do your class for a GED, I get it. A lot of people don't think that, but I'm 37 years old and
Mm.
I'm graduating with my high school student this year. So
No,
that
but
right
that's a
there,
beautiful story within itself. Her
I
oldest
just
daughter.
don't
Yeah.
give up on
Yeah.
school just
Yeah.
because it gets discouraging. You can still have your vision, your goal. But I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you right now, and a lot of people are not going to tell you because they're getting so sidetracked by making money off the internet.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But you got to have a foundation. That foundation starts with the education, properly understanding how to communicate,
Love it.
how to think, and
Love
how to
it.
strategize. Like the schooling is there for a reason. And a lot of people, it ain't just being a deposit, a deposit box. You
Mm.
got to use what they're depositing inside you and be able to be creative with it. And a
Yeah.
lot of kids and people don't understand that. And I learned that in psychology, just, during
Look at you.
college. I'm not a safe, I'm not a deposit box, but
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
like to learn and you want to stay learning. And if you don't want to go back to school, that's fine. But that's where a business consultant's going to come in because guess what? Unless God's coming to their dreams like he did me and which he may do other people, but it's just one of those things, you guys. Like
Okay.
education's everything.
I love it.
I
Yeah.
cannot stress it enough.
I love it. Well, first and foremost, congratulations on you graduating.
Yes.
Can't
Congrats.
can't wait to see you cross that stage.
Yeah.
One last question, and this has been great, y'all. This I hope people visit this episode in years to come, months to come, whatever the case may be, because I think it's so relative to what's going on because people are trying to find themselves.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I want you to imagine that person on the other side of this screen. They're watching this and they're asking the question, how do I do it? Or what's the next step? Could you talk to that person and just say, hey,
All it takes is a little thing called a mustard seed, right?
hey,
And high faith. Like I really, so many doors have been shut on me like no other.
Mm,
And I will say honestly, if it hadn't been for my faith
yes,
and me believing in me and obsessing over the dream that God gave me. Like
come
he
on,
gives us all a mission, right? And like it is to help the people. And so you gotta have faith in yourself. Not everyone's gonna cheer you on. I remember when I got my 40 under 40, I had just a good friend of mine, Elle, and my two kids were there present when I got
yeah,
one of my first awards, like in recognition. And like it was a great experience, but you just need yourself. You just got to
that's
believe in
right.
yourself. And once you believe in yourself, it creates confidence. And whenever that confidence kicks in, you know how that saying is when you look good, you feel
Feel
good. And when you
good.
feel good, you
Yep.
do good.
Yep.
That confidence is
Yes,
making you feel good. I'm going to perform well because every day I get up, I look in that mirror and I said, you got it. You got it. You're going to do it. And then I got this thing like it's probably got toothpaste splattered on it right now, though. It's like value my time, be committed.
wow, wow.
And that's how it goes. Just get up and do it.
Nice.
No excuses.
Love that.
No excuses.
Any other questions?
No, I don't think I got any more.
Well, I tell you
You
what.
only had like one.
I know I'm not really much of a
Oh,
talker
we
being
just
the
now.
interviewer.
She's evolving. At one point, she wasn't. That ain't me.
You got to
You know,
crack the shell.
crack the
I gotta
shell.
focus on these
But
levels.
when you hear her actually rap, she's an artist. Oh man, amazing, amazing.
Like, are you like like what they call it, like Afro rapping, regular street rap? What are you kind of rap?
It's
Gospel?
more melodic rap and R&B.
Yeah.
I'm a singer, rapper. Yeah.
Okay.
She's had a couple shows
But
around
that's what I
here.
was gonna ask you about when I was talking about looking into your business, because
Yeah.
being an artist is you being your own business.
Mhm.
So trying to build my
You got to have a proper
foundation.
structure.
Yeah, I don't have any structure.
You
right
have
now.
to. Yeah, you got to create a plan. You got to figure out where you want to go with it.
Yeah.
Like he did tell me that you had to, you work downtown and you have a lot of people coming through, right? All right. So how's the money structure going? Like, do you have roles for even yourself when you're putting in a
Love it.
business plan? A lot of people don't think that you got to have a role. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And then you stick to it. And like, then you put yourself on budgets. At the beginning, people don't realize like you got to put yourself on budget. Just because the company made money don't mean you made money
That's true.
unless you don't want to grow.
Right.
Somebody they paid the company $100.
There you go.
Now, are you on payroll?
There you go.
Right? Because eventually, you can pay quarterly taxes if you want for the company. And that means you want to have your bookkeeper put some money aside, or you need to learn it yourself. There's so many different things. But if you don't have
see all these nuggets we
anything,
getting?
about to
See
make
these
a
nuggets
meeting.
we get?
yeah, if you don't have
Come
anything
on
going
now.
on right now, you need to have a plan.
Yes.
You need to have a bank account. You need to have an operating agreement.
Yeah.
You need to also have, you just need to have it all. You need to have some things in writing. Do you have an articles incorporation?
I did. I stopped paying on it, and it's based out of Virginia.
Okay, hold on, wait a minute. What do you mean you stop? When you create okay, so another thing, you guys. Okay,
Yeah,
real quick before you wrap this up.
No, you good. You good.
Okay,
I'm glad you're saying it because I can only say
Okay,
so
wait.
much. It's all good.
Wait, okay.
No one should ever have to when you
Yeah.
pay for the article.
So I started my LLC in Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before I moved out here, I had to pay. It was like a yearly registration fee or something.
Yeah.
It was that. I stopped paying that when I moved out here, and I did have the articles and all that set up when I was out there. But when I moved out here, I was trying to restart my business and everything because I had to find clientele and everything, artists to record. And so once I started working under somebody else, I kind of just let my LLC go because I was working under somebody else's business. So it's been unstructured since then. So I'm trying to bring that back.
But you can recover it. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I say you should recover it.
You can recover.
You guys don't let things go.
Yeah.
It's okay to put it on. You see, like a Girl Like Me network right now, it's on standstill, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? What I did was because it's going to be under the foundation here soon. There's certain legalities that are going to make it happen to make it easier. But you just don't give up and stuff, especially that's your hard work. Because guess what? You could have done. You could have copywritten or trademarked your business name. All right. So no matter what, across this country, across the globe, can no one use that business name? It don't matter what I'm saying. Even if you pause it over there, you need to trademark it. Are you going to still have the same name that was over in Virginia here in Missouri?
I don't think so. That's what I've been trying to figure out because at first it was under Noisy Boy LLC, and then I did a DBA as my artist name, and then I was like, I don't know if I need to recreate that underneath my.
So you had your operating agreement, and then you did a DBA as your artist name.
Yeah.
I would have trademarked or to copyright my artist name. That way, can't nobody, like how Beyonce did Blues.
Yeah.
Right. I would trademark the name.
Okay.
Okay. Copyright because that way that's your name. You own that.
Yeah.
So without putting too much of your private on this,
Mm.
I'm gonna say this to you.
Okay.
Remember what we talked about? Getting that Library of Congress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trademark.
Mm.
Let's pin it right there because I think right now you just got you a new client, and not only that. I want people to really realize what just happened here. This is how Amby works. It can start here.
I'm eating noodles with you, and then I'm gonna be
the
trying to
next
figure
thing
out.
you know, because I remember sitting down having dinner with her one time, and
Oh, God.
boy, I had notes on the back of the when they give you the menu.
Yeah.
I had notes on the menu of stuff that we talked about. And I still have that menu because I go back to it because I'm like, I never thought of that. I mean, I thought of it, but in that manner.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm seeing, and this is organically, this is how Flex Business really works. It's a conversation.
Yeah.
Guys, listen.
It really is.
Listen, you got a chance to get a little bit of an extra, but I just want to say this. Amby, thank you.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank
Cool
you.
and sweet. Thank
This
you.
has been great. For those who would love to get in contact with Amby Lewis, phone number 714-955-2225.
Mhm.
Email flex consultant with an S. So that means flex consultants at yahoo.com. And then the website www.flexbusinessconsultants.com.
All will
Come,
be in the description of the bio.
all this will be in this description in the bio when you watch this. Obviously on our platform, YouTube, @the Locked and Loaded Show. Guys, this has been great. Amby, thank you once again. Obviously, it's your brother from another, Marlon Rashawn Grays.
It's your girl, Jayce Janae.
What's up? We are Locked and Loaded Show. We'll see you next time.
Peace.